Hello everybody, happy Tuesday! Hope you're doing very, very well, and well, we're going to continue with the parcel that I started opening in the last video. We've got two more shirts to go, so that nicely sorts us out for this week at the very least. So we opened up one previously, which was the team from Malta, which unfortunately did not have any tags attached, which means it couldn't drop into my actual collection due to the many rules that I seem to have imposed upon myself. But I have two more, and hopefully these are going to be satisfactory. As I mentioned before, I had a quick look through these, and the one I'm going to show you today is 95% there. So for me, it's fine, but I'll let you decide if I'm being too picky or not. So let's just grab the one that I want to showcase to you. Come on, there we go, it's there. So the one more, that can be for Friday. So, it's in a bag. Can you see anything there? Is anything given away? So it's red, and then sort of a burgundy bit of trim somewhere, and bring it around to the front. Well, that's a good start, isn't it? The tags. So that's half the way there, isn't it, I suppose? Well done to people who were able to gather who this is, because it's not the most common team, I'd say, unless you're from this specific country. So, let's go to the rear of the shirt. Here we go. So, look at that. That is red. And that is all you're going to get. So you do have the bit on the sleeves, and then that's it. So there's nothing on the back that's kind of little flags or motifs. So hopefully we bring it around to the front, and there's actually going to be something going on. Ta-da! Well, we've got a little bit, haven't we? So it's still the red primary colour, but we do have a sort of a sash running across the front. It is kind of imposed upon by the rather large sponsor, the Ford Explorer sponsor, but you can see it's running across in the yellow, and it's like an alternative way of doing it. It's like a brush stroke in effect, and it's pretty cool. It's quite smart. It is a Nike shirt, and then we have the tags, as I mentioned. So it all looks to be there, sponsors, tags. One thing, if we go onto here and we zoom in, the sizing, there is an L there, which means large, and obviously I go for medium, and I did order this as a medium, but it has arrived as a large. Now, what you may have also noticed above it is the words slim fit. So, it's possible the retailer thought, well, if you want a medium, but it's quite a slimmer material, he would prefer to get large, and then it sort of goes down and sizes down, sort of thing. Maybe. I don't know if that's what the sort of level of consideration is, but it's probably fine. You know, if it was like a regular fit, it would be. I'm so used to medium, it feels like it's a large. It's a weird thing to say, but yeah, it's a small thing. If it was a large is a pretty decent size to have anyway, because it's quite common and popular anyway. So I'll dress the mannequin, and I'll explain to you a little bit about the club if you're not too familiar. It's not the most exciting of crests, to be honest. It's just literally a couple of colours and some text on it. But yeah, I'll get back to you with some information. Right here then, so there is the shirt, and it's actually not so snug on the mannequin. It fits probably quite nicely. If I were to wear that, I reckon it would actually be close to the size that I would prefer to wear. But who is this particular club? Like I said, it does mention it roughly on the crest, and it is FC Martigues, or at least that's the best you can get from me, and it's their home shirt from 2023-2024, so a few seasons old now. Bought this one, of course, from La Campionessa, like the other shirts in that parcel, and it was roughly about £35, so pretty decent price all in. And, surprise, surprise, they actually do have some of these available, so if you go on the website, you'll find not loads of sizes, but still I think the primary sizes are there. Just obviously bear in mind, I don't know whether you're actually going to get what you've ordered or if that was just an admin error. But regardless, just consider that if you're going to be making the purchase. So the club was founded in 1921, as it suggests on the crest there, and it comes from the commune of Martigues, which is in the south of France. We are back in France. I always feel like my French collection should always be a little bit better, and well, I think it probably should do, to be honest, but we're going to be slowly getting there, and I suppose that is what counts. So, the club currently play, well, I say currently plays, I don't think they do currently play, at least based on what I've been able to read. So at the end of last season, they finished second bottom in the second division in France, so pretty rough season, relegation, but still second tier. However, due to financial struggles, they were then relegated to the sixth tier in French football, so that's a bit of a harsh penalty, but, you know, That's just what happens. They appeal the decision, and then I don't know if it was because they appealed and then they got further punished. They are now pushed down to the 11th tier in French football, which I'm surprised personally there is 11th tier in French football. I thought that might just be some people kicking the ball around in a park, but yeah, imagine going from the 2nd tier down to the 11th tier. That's definitely a bit of a drop. Looking at the website, on the actual club official website, the most recent sort of addition is literally just a club statement to those sort of charges and response to it, and then kind of just saying the usual thing you'd expect. We're disappointed to see this, blah, blah, blah. And at the bottom, it kind of effectively says, we've released all staff, we've released all players, and that's it, really. They didn't really say anything else. If you go on their social media, as you would expect, because they've got no staff, there haven't been a update in many, many, many months. The only thing I will say is, based on what I've read, the club still technically exists. It hasn't dissolved, like certain clubs. When they get into the situation, it'll just say, we cease to exist and we'll try and start again or something. It's just gone quiet. So the club, I don't know, in theory it could continue again, but you'd have to be a little bit more closer to the situation than certainly I am to be able to confirm that. So historically, the club has found themselves bouncing between sort of 2nd, 3rd, and 4th tiers in France, which is not uncommon. It's a lot of teams that do find themselves in that sort of middle zone. I think it was in the mid 90s, though, they did have some time in the top division, so it's not like they've not had some impact on top level French football. Just not as frequent as they probably would have hoped, and certainly compared to where they are now. When it comes to shirt, it's obviously a Nike shirt. Relatively simple design. You just got this added yellow at the bottom there, which adds to it. Got some sponsors on there. I can imagine the reason why they've got quite a few is because clearly they needed the money. When it comes to the away and third shirt for this particular season, it was the exact same style and design with the sort of sash, just using different colours from the palette that the club clearly worked to. And I think also La Campionessa had all three available. I guess it just depends on, firstly, sizing, if that's what's the main thing, and what colours you prefer, I suppose. So I just went for the home just because it's a home shirt. The club actually did become quite a little bit of a cult hit in the kits community collecting world, because it was discovered that in the early 90s they had shirts that were sponsored on the front by Jurassic Park, the franchise of Jurassic Park, which admittedly is pretty cool. And as you can imagine, relatively smallish team, and it's going back over 30 years now. Probably not too many of those floating around. So if people were to pick up a genuine one, they were pretty penny to make the purchase there. So they were pretty smart. I remember seeing them, but yeah, don't expect too many of those. And I suppose ultimately don't expect any more new ones to be released. So if you are somebody who's interested in picking up shirts for clubs that no longer exist, or pretty much no longer exist, this is probably going to be your chance, specifically if you obviously are looking for them in brand new condition. So it's just unfortunate. It seems to be the case with a lot of football teams these days. They just get into struggles and they just free fall, and you drop 9 divisions in one season, which is absolutely insane to even consider. So there we go. That is the second of the 3 shirts, and unfortunately for the club that I'm going to be showing on Friday, they have a very similar story, but maybe slightly worse, if you can imagine. So yeah, pay attention to that one. That's going to hit the feed at some point on Friday. Anyway, let me know any considerations. If you've got any more information, gladly please put it in the comments. And I will hope you have a great week ahead, and I shall see you on Friday. Goodbye!